Have you ever felt like you had to run from one thing to another? Perhaps you're working and you have a lot of tasks that you need to do. You're just pressuring yourself to finish one project or assignment, or maybe you're in school and you're going from one assignment, test, paper to another. Or perhaps it's in your personal life where you just have to fill your days up with different activities. Maybe it's seeing your friends or hobbies, but you just don't seem to pause and take a break. I've been there. That's really been my year so far. As the year's ending and I reflect on some of my experiences and thoughts, I wanted to talk about the importance of being bored. These thoughts came about due to my therapy sessions. My therapist actually recommended that I follow someone named Tara Brach. She's an American psychologist and a big proponent of Buddhist meditation. I realized that I didn't know how to be bored, and that's really been something I'm working on. I've been following the meditation practices for 7 days now, so 7 days in. Today will be my 8th day, and I feel a huge difference. This video will be posted in the new year, so you'll be seeing this in the new year. I will say that with so many different distractions, perhaps it's social media, maybe it's just everything we have to get to, right? I mean, the instant gratification is something that I'm sure you're aware of if you are on any of the platforms, getting likes, views, comments. I mean, even on YouTube, right? I'm currently recording a YouTube video and I do look at those things. I think that it's so important, and even research have shown that when we allow ourselves a break, and we are all worthy of that, that's when our learning happens. So when we learn something new, we do need time to digest what we learned. And that's why breaks are so important. Aside from that, it's also important because without breaks, we cannot be creative because we don't have that mental space to think of new ideas and reflect. And that's a huge one I think I'm gonna bring in the new year, which is being able to pause and reflect, because if I'm not able to do that, I don't know how I'm feeling and I may end up being burned out, and I don't want to repeat that. Hopefully you resonate with this, and I hope that you will make an active effort to pause and take a break. If you're not doing meditation practices, definitely check them out. Tara Brach is on YouTube, so I've just been following the YouTube videos. I'll put in a few in the description box if you want to follow along, but it's been so healing for me as someone who had so many repressed emotions that I didn't know about. It's definitely truly really important for us to pause and take a break, because that's really when the growth, the miracles, the healing happens. And maybe that sounds cheesy, but I've really seen such a huge difference with the past 7 days I've been meditating. When I followed these guided meditation videos, I actually been crying every time I've been doing them, which I think just shows that I have so much pent up emotions that I never knew about. I think it's so easy going about our days, the go, go, go mentality of being productive all the time. It doesn't help that part of our worth is tied into what we achieve, being that achiever. And as someone who is definitely an achiever and an overachiever, I really relate to that 100%. It's been really interesting because what I read about meditation is it helps us embrace the boredom. So rather than being bored, I found myself being uneasy sometimes. If I'm sitting still and I'm not doing something, I might want to distract myself with a video, going on Instagram, scrolling, or going on Facebook, looking at people's stories or videos, or on YouTube. But what I've realized is that because I've been meditating and I'm embracing the present moments and really processing my emotions, I've been really able to even appreciate the little things. That's, waking up in the morning, I feel less tension, which is always helpful. It's just been really, really helpful. So I encourage you, if that's something that you aren't doing right now, meditation, look into it. If you want to slow down, it really helps us. There's been studies that show that meditation actually helps our brain, and studies how the amygdala is responsible for that fight or flight response, and it actually helped with that and not reacting right away. I definitely found myself being more calm. As someone with anxiety, meditation is definitely something I will continue doing, and hopefully I will continue doing that every day if possible. If you're like me, you might be feeling uncomfortable when there is silence, but I realized that through this meditation practice, through embracing boredom, I'm a little more comfortable now, which I didn't know that it's possible, but I think it really centers us, because what happens is when we distract ourselves from our thoughts, our feelings, we are constantly thinking about what's next or maybe in the past. And I think being present really grounds us in just feeling how we feel, so our emotions are not repressed, which happens a lot, right? If we don't really process those emotions, they'll come up eventually, which is probably why I've been crying at all of my meditation practices this past week. Something else I want to talk about is socializing. I know that, the holidays are here and the New Year's coming, and you'll see this video when the New Year starts. I had not realized that I was actually not socializing with anyone besides my husband, my dog, of course, and my mother-in-law. And that was so interesting because I actually had a meal with some of my ex-coworkers who were really good friends. I was talking to them. It hit me that I really hadn't socialized, and I think that sometimes when we start to close ourselves off because maybe we're going through a lot. Apologize, I did actually see one of my siblings and we did have lunch together. Since I had not seen my friends in a long time, and it actually occurred to me during the happy hour that we went to that I was so uncomfortable because I didn't know how to act. That's might be silly, I don't know, maybe you've experienced it. I hadn't seen them in a long time, and they actually see each other on a frequent basis because of a hobby they share. For a little bit of time, I just felt really awkward. And I want to talk about this because I remember talking to one of my friends, and I said to her that, wow, I haven't seen anyone in a long time. And I looked through my calendar and I was like, yeah, I really haven't. Then she said to me that that's really normal. We are our worst critic, and we judge ourselves so much that we have these judgments, these thoughts about ourselves. I think through meditation, I've been able to be a little bit kinder to myself. I'm working on it, I'm not 100% there. I was like, wow, I went there and I judged myself, like, wow, I haven't done this, I'm so weird. But then my friend's like, no, that happens to me too. That was just a very interesting experience, and I would encourage you that if you're going through something, if you're not able to hang out or connect with friends, perhaps you can give them a call if that's something that you're able to do. Or even when you're ready, don't feel awkward for reaching out and saying hi. You know what? I was also the one who reached out and coordinated this, so I'm proud of myself for doing that. I talked about this in a lot of videos, but the connections we have, the relationships are really so important to make us feel connected. We are social creatures as humans, and I really encourage you to really build your network of support if you're able to. I don't have super close relationships with my family members, and I really embrace the relationships I do have. I was so happy that I actually reached out to one of my siblings and we had lunch, like I mentioned. I was actually kind of shocked, but they had mentioned to me that they liked my videos and whatnot. When we did hang out after lunch, they gave me some feedback about, hey, your background and whatnot. So I did change it up a little bit to make it a little more interesting. So I hope you like the fireplace burning in the background. The reason for bringing this up was I was kind of shocked that he was supporting my YouTube channel, which I'm really grateful for. I think that it just shows that perhaps you think you're alone, but perhaps there are supporters that are not as vocal, and if you really appreciate or value those relationships, reach out. And that's what I did. I messaged my sibling, I was like, hey, you want to have lunch? And then we did. It takes one person to reach out and then the other person to reciprocate if they're willing to do that. But yeah, so this video really wanted to just reflect on being present, being now, embracing boredom, because with the way life is, we're so busy. We are working, going to school, we have the different challenges that we all have and responsibilities, and everyone has their own struggles. So I do want to just talk about this recent thing on my mind. Another thing on my mind that I wanted to talk about is be okay with allowing yourself breaks. And I say this because I think because I'm always on the go and our society really puts an emphasis on productivity, right? Our worth sometimes is tied to what have we accomplished, what have we done, our job titles, how much money we make, that sometimes it's so easy to get stuck in all that and not take a break. When I say take a break, that's even if maybe you need a break from therapy. I was pretty regular with my therapy sessions. I was seeing my therapist every week. And with the holidays coming up, I did tell her that, can we hold off on this week? So I actually didn't see her earlier this week, and that I think allowed me some mental space to process everything I was going through. And I'm still doing the work, took her advice and looked up guided meditations, and those are so helpful. But I will say, please allow yourself breaks. Don't be so hard on yourself. I am so hard on myself where I feel the need to be perfect all the time. I think that is something I really want to work on in the new year, which is to be kinder to myself and judge myself. Because what I've learned, and through even meditation, is that there are so many thoughts in my head where I feel like I'm not good enough and I'm not living up to someone's expectations or my own expectations. I've been conditioned to feel like I'm not worthy, and breaking those thought patterns takes time. And I think that's why I've been so emotional through these guided meditations, and I try to search for sessions that speak to me. I found myself just processing all those repressed emotions that I did not allow myself to stop. I think what happens is when we start to feel uncomfortable because negative emotions aren't fun, it becomes scary because we're not used to it, and that's normal. Like I mentioned in my last video, that when you get burned on the stove top, you might be scared to cook again. And like myself, when I went to yoga class and I was feeling very intense sadness, I was like, wow, do I want to go back to yoga? I know it's good for me, but I was so scared. So it's super normal, and with the new year approaching, I want to work on just embracing that and feeling it out. There is just so much sadness I think I didn't process, that I think I'm ready for it now, and I'm just so grateful to be able to share my thoughts with you all. I hope this helps. I hope you don't feel alone. I hope you feel like you're not strange or weird. I know I always felt like, oh man, am I strange? Am I odd because I feel this way? But you're not alone. I will tell you that it's super normal to just not love yourself, and I'm learning to love myself. I hope you love yourself. But for people like myself who've been conditioned to feel like I'm not worthy, it's been hard and it takes a lot of work. Although I'm very terrified and it's hard every time I process those emotions, I know eventually that I'm gonna get to a place where I'm gonna be a little bit better, and that's my goal. It's so interesting that I'm learning to sit with silence. I was so scared of silence because silence meant that I had to face myself. That realization hit me so hard, like a ton of bricks, that I was so scared to just sit with those thoughts. But I know now that I have the tools to get better, and I have a support system around me that hopefully will be helping me get through this. You're not alone if you're feeling very similarly. And I hope this is really helpful, because this really is from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate all the support that I've had. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I can't wait to see how we are both going to grow in the new year. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you like my new background. Thank you to my sibling. A shout out for the tips about my background. They were saying that it was a little boring, so I was like, okay, let me change it up. I really like my fireplace that Santa had. I know the holidays are coming to an end, but really love the festivities. So I'm gonna have it here for a little bit. But again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Let me know if you resonate with any of this. I'll see you next time. See you soon. Bye. Thanks. Happy New Year.